Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In my last video, I finally figured out my serpentine belt system on my Kubota V2403. All the pulleys are now aligned with each other and it works fantastic. However, while I was test driving it, the tabs broke off on my water tank for my water to air intercooler. So today I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it with some 1/8 inch thick aluminum strips to make the mount stronger using a brazing method. So let's get to work. All right, everyone, I have the tank off. I've taken the fill sight tube off because I'm going to be putting a lot of heat into this and I didn't want to melt it. Now, originally I was going to be using this 1/8 inch bar, but it's really narrow. But I found another piece of 1/8 inch bar in my shop and it's a lot thicker. And this allows me to do a couple of things. One, I want to drill a couple of holes in it, so when I go to bond it to the back of this aluminum tank, I'm not just filling around the edges, I can also put in some of the braze in the middle as well. So I think that will create a much stronger bond. The other thing I'm going to be doing is putting one on this bottom corner because I want this tank to be bolted with 4 bolts, not 3. I think having 3 bolts where it was pivoting on this bolt right here is what also broke the 2 tabs over here. So I'm going to get back to time lapse and see what I can figure out. Alright everyone, I have everything set up. My GoPro battery died and I didn't realize it, so you didn't see me using the stainless steel brush on the tank, but I'll do that for the other ones. I mean, really, you're just trying to get the metal as clean as you can. You're also supposed to wipe this down with acetone. I know I have a can of acetone somewhere. We're going to focus on this. We're going to see how it does. If this doesn't bond real well, I'm going to take the time to find the acetone. And the other thing I want to see is how well this one hole does. I want to see how strong it feels. Is one hole enough? This plate bar, or whatever you want to call it, is thick enough. I could put multiple holes in it, but I don't want to put so many holes in it that I reduce the strength of it. So I'm now going to try using the propane tank and the rod and see if I can't get this to bond together. There definitely is a bit of finesse to doing this. I don't know if you can hear it. I had water still in the tank. Just the way the tank is designed, I couldn't get all the water out. So at first I got a little bit worried about all the smoking, but it's just the water boiling off. But I'm actually really impressed with this. This is just kind of like soldering, just with bigger pieces. So I'm gonna let this cool, see how it does. See how strong it feels. The problem I was worried about was I was heating the top plate and I didn't know how much I was heating the aluminum tank itself. But it actually seemed, once I really focused the heat on one area, I tried heating up the entire area and soldering it all at once, and that doesn't work. You really need to focus on one area, get it really hot, apply the solder, and then move on to the next area. Because one of the things I noticed is when you move on to the next area, it actually kind of pulls the solder to it. Or the aluminum rod, or whatever you want to call it. Sorry, I'm used to soldering with a soldering iron. So, anyway, we're gonna let this cool off and see how it does. That corner doesn't look great, and I had a little bit of difficulty with that corner, but this side looks great. Here I had a huge puddle of it, and I kept heating around, it sucked it underneath. And this actually looks really good as well. So, I've got really high hopes. The other thing I want to see, and this will be a bit of a strength test, is I'm going to loosen the vise and try bending this plate back a little bit. Oh, that is solid. Oh, that's perfect. That actually flattened that out exactly how I wanted it to. So with that, we're gonna cut some more metal and do the skin. All right, everyone. Take my headphones off. Sorry about that. I'm really impressed with this stuff. It's not that difficult to do. You have to get a feel for it. It's getting the aluminum heated in the right way so that the welding rod will melt correctly and everything. So, but overall I'm very impressed. This is a much cheaper solution than trying to go out and get a TIG welder that does AC and trying to learn all that. This is a much quicker setup, and especially for what I'm doing, this is going to be more than strong enough. So I'm going to let this cool down a while. Once this cools down, we'll come back, we'll check it, we'll test fit it on there, and then we'll work on the other tabs. So see you soon. Alright everyone, I've kind of figured out how I want to mount this, and because I want this to be as strong as possible and I don't want to have to go through this again, against conventional wisdom, I'm actually going to cut these two mounts off so I can put two more pieces of plate here and get this water tank mounted exactly where I want it on my Kubota V2403. So I'm going to get back to it. Alright everyone, I'm about to take a break and let this cool. By the time I got to this final tab, I really did kind of figure out the amount of heat and how to get the rod to really apply the way I wanted it to. It really is just a thing of practice, patience, and finesse. So after this cools down, we'll come back, we'll figure out how we're going to mount it on the motor plate on my Kubota V2403, and we'll go from there. See you soon. Now that this is completely cooled off, we have to mark and drill the holes in it so we can mount it. Now originally, this water tank was down here like this. It was actually pretty low. What I'm wanting to do is bring it up to about here, just because it gives me a lot more clearance underneath of it, because this is the feed port for the electric water pump, and it was getting really close to my steering column assembly shaft, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm going to turn on time lapse and figure this out. Alright everyone, that's all I have for this video. Unfortunately, I need a different adapter on the bottom of my water tank. Right now it's just a straight adapter. It goes from a 1/2 inch MPT to a 3/4 hose barb. And what I really need is a 90-degree bend, because right now the hose is hitting some of my steering components and that's just not safe. So until I get that part in, I can't finish this. And unfortunately that also means I have to take the water tank out again. But that's what happens when you do a custom build like I'm doing. But anyway, it's YouTube. You know what to do. Take out more than you bring. Tread lightly, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.